Chapter 1, Section 1, Studying the Distant Past. Background knowledge. Most people enjoy learning about their family's histories and how their relatives lived in years past. Scientists, known as archaeologists, look much farther back in time. They are interested in the origins of humankind, or human beings in general. In this section, you will learn about the ways in which archaeologists study the distant past and what they have learned about the development of humankind. Studies of early humans. Studying the origins of humankind is not easy. Until about 6,000 years ago, humans had no way to write things down. This time before written records is called prehistory. The scientists who study prehistory are called archaeologists. Archaeology is the study of human life in the past through the examination of the things that people left behind. Searching for artifacts. Archaeologists study the development of humankind by looking for places where people may have lived long ago. Old campsites and settlements often lie buried beneath layers of dirt. Archaeologists excavate or uncover these sites to learn about the people who once lived there. As archaeologists dig up a site, they look for artifacts such as tools, pottery, or weapons. Artifacts are objects made by humans. The artifacts found in an ancient campsite can help archaeologists understand how the people who once camped there hunted for food or what types of plants the people ate. Some questions about early humans, however, are difficult to answer by studying artifacts. For example, archaeologists excavating old campsites have found animal bones carved with strange designs. Archaeologists can identify the animals from which these bones came and describe the tools used to carve the designs, but they cannot explain the thoughts and ideas of the people who created these fascinating artifacts. Hunting for fossils. Artifacts have taught archaeologists a great deal about people who lived thousands of years ago. The earliest humans, however, lived millions of years ago. The artifacts they created have mostly disappeared. For these people's stories, archaeologists depend mainly on fossils. Fossils are the remains or imprints of living things that existed millions of years ago. These remains may include parts of plants, feathers, bones, and even footprints. Fossils form only under special conditions. After a living thing dies, it must become quickly covered by sand or mud. Once covered, the soft parts of the plant or animal rot away quickly. The harder parts, such as bones, teeth, or woody stems, last much longer. Over many years, minerals from the soil slowly replicate this once living material, leaving a rock-like copy of the original. Fossilized bones of early humans are rare. A whole fossil skeleton is even more unusual. Fossil hunters usually find a bone here or a tooth there. Still, examining a fossil tooth can show what kind of food an early human ate. Fossil bones might indicate the size and features of an early human's body. Dating fossils and artifacts. Archaeologists use several methods for determining the age of artifacts and fossils. One method is to compare objects found in similar layers of rock or soil. Objects found in lower layers are likely to be older than those found in upper layers. Archaeologists may also compare an object with a similar fossil or artifact whose age is already known. Radioactive dating is another method for determining the age of very old objects. Both living things and rocks contain radioactive elements that decay or disappear over time. By measuring the amount of radioactive material left in an object, scientists can tell when it was formed. Other dating methods use different types of physical or chemical tests to determine the age of objects. The hunt for early humans. Where did people first appear on Earth? This was one of the first questions asked by scientists studying the development of humankind. For a long time, no one knew the answer. Then, in 1959, archaeologists Mary and Louis Leakey discovered human fossils at a place called Olduvai Gorge in East Africa. A piece of skull found by Mary Leakey featured large molars, or rear teeth, which suggested that the individual ate mostly plants. Tests showed that the fossil found by the Leakeys were at least 1.75 million years old. From that point on, the search for the origins of humankind centered on Africa. African beginnings. On November 30th, 1974, American fossil hunter Donald Johanson woke up feeling lucky. For 3 years, Johanson had been searching for evidence of early humans in Ethiopia, a country in East Africa. By noon, the temperature had risen to almost 110 degrees Fahrenheit, making it too hot to search any further. On his way back to camp, Johanson took a detour through a dry gully. There, he saw a tiny bone sticking out of the dirt. That one small forearm bone led to more bones, including those from a skull, leg, pelvis, and jaw. After searching another 2 weeks, Johanson and his team had uncovered hundreds of pieces of bones. The pieces, which all belonged to a 3.5-foot tall woman, made up about 40% of her skeleton. Johanson named her Lucy. Johanson's team determined that all of the bones belonged to the one individual because they did not find 2 examples of any one type of bone. The bones of Lucy's legs, pelvis, ankle, and spine suggest that, like humans today, she walked upright on 2 legs. However, she lived an amazing 3.2 million years ago. Since the discovery of Lucy, even older fossils have been found in Africa. In the 1990s, an American fossil hunter named Tim White found fossils of early humans who lived in Ethiopia at least 4.4 million years ago. The back of one skull found by White's team was badly crushed. White guesses that a hippopotamus or an elephant might have stepped on the skull after the individual died. The search for the oldest one. The discovery of Lucy and other older fossils led many scientists to conclude that humankind began in East Africa about 4.5 million years ago. But not everyone agrees. One such person is French fossil hunter Michael Brunet. In 2001, Brunet found in the African country of Chad a worn brown human-like skull. Tests showed the skull to be nearly 7 million years old. That makes it, says Brunet, the oldest one. Brunet's discovery has raised many questions. Chad is in Central Africa. Did humankind begin there rather than in East Africa? The skull Brunet found is much older than all the other human fossils discovered so far. Does this mean that humankind is older than scientists once thought? The skull found in Chad looks more ape-like than the other early human skulls. Does that mean that it might not be an early human skull at all? Scientists are still looking for answers to these questions. Meanwhile, the search for ancient human fossils continues. This is just the beginning of the story, says Brunet of his work in Chad. Just the beginning. Looking back and ahead. In this section, you have read about archaeological studies of the development of humankind. You have learned that humans first appeared in Africa more than 4.4 million years ago, and that scientists continue to search for fossils older than those already discovered. In the next section, you will find out how these early humans lived and how they continue to develop.